everyone, welcome or welcome back. So in today's video, I'm finally going to be doing a video that's just dedicated to brush styling and just tips and tricks on how I use the tangle teaser to brush style my hair. Honestly, you can use any brush that you have or just works to like really clump the curls. To do this, the tangle teaser is just my favorite brush. If you notice, I'm always using it in many of my videos. So without further ado, let's go back to yesterday because this is actually the next day. I'm gonna show y'all how I got all of these ringlets throughout my hair with just brush styling. I washed my hair like 45 minutes ago and we're about to style it right now. So my favorite brush to use to brush style honestly is the tangle teaser. I literally have like 3 of these brushes because I'm obsessed. So I do have the original size of the tangle teaser brush, and then I also have the large size of the tangle teaser brush. So honestly, to me, it doesn't really matter which one I use. I just noticed that the large one, like if I do want to do bigger sections of hair, it works better, but this one works really well too. But for today's styling routine, honestly, I'm just gonna use the regular size tangle teaser because this one is the one that I tend to use the most. So let's get started. Step 1, when you are brush styling, it is so important to section your hair. So I know when I first started to brush style my hair, I started with the diamond brush, and what I used to do is literally, I used to go like this to my hair. And I used to be like, why isn't this working? Like, this brush is like a lie, this doesn't work, and it's because I was using it wrong. So when you're brush styling, it's so important to section your hair. Of course, the amount of sections that you do, it depends on your density. Since I have a lot of hair, I tend to do a lot of sections, especially when I want to get like a lot of like ringlets, minimal frizz all around. So what I'm going to go for today is I'm going to brush style really small sections. That's like my, I guess, go-to styling routine when I have time to style my hair. So one question that I get a lot when I'm styling my hair is people are always asking me, why isn't your hair drenching wet? So personally, damp styling works for me, but damp styling does not work for everyone. Some people, or I feel like the majority of people, need their hair soaking wet for this to work. However, I've discovered that damp styling works for me. I don't know why. So right now I'm just wetting my hair down a little bit. I'm not gonna wet it down too much because my hair is already like drying up. So I'll say that's like the amount of water that I apply to my hair. And before applying any product, I always like to make sure my hair is detangled. I'm going to be styling today with 2 of my drugstore favorite products, and that's the Kinky Curly Not Today leave-in and the Kristen S jelly. So I'm gonna start off by applying some leave-in conditioner to my hair. When I'm applying product to my hair, I always apply my product in sections because I like to make sure that I'm giving every strand on my hair some love. I notice when I don't section my hair and apply product like this, there's usually like pieces that don't get as defined or just get frizzy really quick. So for me, this is the best way to go. If you feel like you don't have to section to apply product, then definitely you can skip this step and just apply all your product and water before. Now I'm gonna go in with some of the jelly from Kristen S. I also like to brush in my gel. I feel like that's another question that I do get a lot because a lot of people tend to glaze their gel or scrunch it. I do that with some gels, but most of the time with more of the gels that I have, I do brush them into my hair because I just noticed that this way just works better for me. Definitely play around with this step and see what works for you. So let's start brush styling with this piece of hair right here. So one thing that I see people ask me is, how do you decide how much hair you want to brush? So that's definitely up to you. Sometimes when I'm really lazy, I literally brush through big sections and it forms a clump. Sometimes I decide to divide my sections and do smaller sections like this. So it's definitely up to you or what you think works for you. So I'm just brushing through the product first just to make sure it's throughout all my strands, and I'm just gonna divide these two sections. I'm gonna go for smaller clumps throughout my hair today. So when you're brush styling, you don't want to grab the brush and brush down, because that's one gonna take away from the volume in your hair and it's not going to define your hair as well. So when I brush style, I like to put my brush under like this. Another thing that I like to do that's really important is apply some tension to the brush. So I literally don't go like this because that barely does anything. However, when I do take the brush and I like hold it like this, apply some tension, do it slowly, I get a better clump in my hair. So hopefully y'all can see the difference in that. And it definitely dries differently too. Okay, so let's do this section. Brushing under with tension. Then I like shaking it like this. I like to encourage the curl. And then I also like to scrunch by section, because for me scrunching by section gives me less frizz. When I scrunch like a big group of like curls or hairs at once, my hair tends to develop more frizz, and I also notice that I disturb some of the curls. Now we're gonna move on to the next part right here, and as I go higher, I'm going to explain to y'all other things that can really help with brush styling. For the sake of time, I'm not going to continue showing me applying water and product to each section. I'm going to skip through these parts just so that we can concentrate more on brush styling. And basically to do the back sections, sometimes I do it like this. Other times I like extending it, but that's more when I get to the upper parts, you'll see later on. But for these bottom parts right here, and then doing this helps me kind of separate and keep track of like what section I'm brush styling. So literally go like this. Now when I'm doing this section by section and I move on to the back, I literally just extend the brush up. As you can see, sometimes I do brush through a particular section I'm working on multiple times just to kind of smooth it out really nicely. Also, I do have different curl patterns throughout my head. The curls in the back of my head are much more tighter than the curls that are in the front. So when it comes to this like back section, I kind of just brush style it really easily without focusing that much on angles. And here's a tip: you can use an alligator clip to separate the curls styled from the curls not styled. Another important thing when brush styling is the angle that you might be doing it. So sometimes when I do one angle, my curls don't clump as well. So sometimes I need to try to figure out what angle is best. So let's try this one. So as y'all can see, my hair kind of clumped better this way. Let's try under right here. Okay. So my hair clumped way better doing it under. So by now, this is honestly something that I feel like I've memorized. So I know how to like brush certain parts of my hair. But at first, when you're like starting out, where you place the brush or the angle you're doing it is something you might have to play around. So honestly, on days when I'm super lazy, I will honestly brush this whole entire section. and it will just form like a really huge curl clump like this right here. Yeah, but for me, honestly, when I do bigger sections, it takes me a longer time to dry my hair because I feel like it takes longer for like the inner parts to dry. So when I do smaller sections, I do find that my diffusing time is a lot shorter. Also, every curl on your head might want to be like brush style a different way, if it's like this, or having the brush under, or this way. I also noticed that there are some curls on my head that it doesn't like matter if I brush it this way, that way, or this way. It kind of like still curls perfectly fine. But there are other parts of my head that I find that it's kind of like stubborn. So it definitely takes like a matter of time for you to figure out and see how your curls prefer to be curl or what works for you. As you see, I always hold the brush from up here. And sometimes like I leave it if it separates, but I notice that it looks way better in the end if it kind of like forms like one huge clump and doesn't really separate. So sometimes it's like the tension, maybe you're not applying enough tension, maybe you're not curling it the right way. So see what works for you. And sometimes it can even be your hair might prefer to be styled soaking wet instead of damp. Like I was styling my cousin's hair the other day for the first time, and her hair is so different than mine. I noticed her hair literally had to be soaking wet, like more water than product, and her curls were clumping really, really well. Okay, so it curled better on this angle for me. Okay, so that kind of curled better. So you see how I'm explaining, angles really do help. Also, if y'all notice in my videos, like if I'm dividing a section, especially from the back, I always bring like the section I'm not working on. I just like put it to the front and then I just concentrate on this one. So I feel like the back section, there's definitely different ways to do it. There's ways that I put both of my hands and I stretch them up. There's also a way you can just go like this. And then just scrunch. So you can definitely play around and see how you want to style these upper sections. There's so many ways to do it. So we're almost done styling. I have these upper parts here left. So I think I'm just gonna divide right here. I like twisting it to like separate it from the parts already styled. Okay, so basically this upper part here, sometimes I do split it down the middle and style it like that. But sometimes when I don't know if I like want a part in my hair, I kind of just style it onto the back. Or if I feel like I kind of want to switch parts throughout like the days as like the days go by in that wash day. So for that, I literally just like brushing this part right here back. So let me just flip around. So you can either go like this and try to angle it to the back, or you can literally just do this. Tension, angle it up. And yeah, I'm gonna do the same thing to this part right here. I've really been loving finger coiling my bangs lately, but if I do decide to brush them, I literally just put the brush like this, bring it to the front and go like this. And then I just scrunch that up. I think there's a part here that I might have missed. I'm gonna finger coil that. When I'm done, I always like looking through my hair and just making sure I didn't miss some spots. Sometimes I still miss some spots when I do this, but oh well. I'm all done brush styling my entire head. I hope that it like really helped y'all to see how I like angle the brush, how I apply tension, why I like to do specific things. So I'm gonna go diffuse my hair now, and then I'll be back so we can see how my hair looks after applying all of these steps to brush styling. So as y'all see, this is my hair the next day. So I really love this routine. I'll say this routine takes me about 25 to 30 minutes to complete my whole head. And if these tips were helpful, please give this video a thumbs up. That definitely really helps me out. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next one.